All right, everybody. So I am Faith, representing Bellicon, and I'm really excited to have Sara McAndrews on here today. Just a brief intro for Sara before I give her the stage. So Sara is a Bellicon trainer based in Vero Beach, Florida. We have been following her on Instagram for a long time now, and she's been teaching so many classes a week for a long time, and she has an amazing story that we just wanted to share. So with that being said, thank you, Sara. Can you just start by sharing your story and any brief intro if you want to?
So I have been chronically ill since I was 9 years old, and I got bitten by a tick when I was 8. And back then, no one really knew about Lyme disease. They didn't really care. So I had a tick in my back and didn't even realize it was still in there. And literally from it being in my back for like a month, my mom was like, wow, you don't have a mole there. What is that? And she pulled it out and it was a tick. So it literally at that point had become systemic in my system, the Lyme disease. And I was having hip pain and my right leg eventually went paralyzed. And they told me it was growing pains. I'm not someone to complain a lot. So I was just literally dragging my leg at first and flip turning. I was a competitive swimmer. So I was flip turning with one leg, and my coach noticed and he's like, what's going on? And then one night my fever hit 106 and my leg was just completely paralyzed. I couldn't move it. And my parents took me, we were actually in Vermont, and took me to the emergency room. And they were like, if you hadn't come in, you wouldn't have made it. And it just, what happened was, I guess the Lyme disease, it became this strep infection in my hip, and I went into septic shock. And so, people telling me, oh, it's just growing pains. It wasn't growing pains. It wasn't. And then like fast forward, I lived through that day. Fast forward, hit age 11 and was in a car accident. And that kind of brought, they say the stress when you have a like dormant disease, or I kept getting sick and we didn't know why. Yeah. The stress of an accident or like losing a family member or, any sort of stressor can kind of reawaken your disease. Yeah. And so for me, that was the like kind of catalyst. So I got in a bad car accident at age 11, and from there, I just started getting sick. No one knew why. I'd be out for like 6 weeks of school at a time. Like someone would come in with a virus and then I would be out for weeks.
System was just really weak.
Right. And my mom, being the super mom she is, like most Lyme moms out there in chronic illness, warrior mom, shout out to you guys. You guys are queens. She went back through my medical records and looked and saw that there was a positive Lyme test at age 9 when I was septic in the hospital, and no one told me.
You're kidding me.
No one told me, because back then they're like, oh, well, Lyme disease isn't really a big deal. They're like, it's inconclusive and all that. And so my mom, we got papers printed out. I went to different Lyme doctors, and I always will remember this. The first doctor I went to in Boston, Massachusetts, and he was like, you'll be on antibiotics for like 3 weeks, and like touch base with us when you're done with the antibiotics, you'll be fine. Yeah. I, in my head at age like 12, thought that is such a long time.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, 3 weeks is such a long time. And fast forward 20 years later, and I'm still like 22 years later, so I'm 32 years old now, still going through this. Is just like mind blowing to me. I mean, time becomes so relative, right? And just getting through these treatments, and they say Lyme disease is that like great mimicking disease, right? They thought I had stomach cancer. They thought I had MS, all these different diseases, lupus. I was losing hair. Had like the butterfly rash. So no one really knew what was going on. And I finally, like through my teens, couldn't go to school anymore. I couldn't go to high school. I did homeschooling just over the summer because of the winter. A lot of Lyme patients don't do well in the cold. I couldn't warm my body. A lot of my normal body functions stopped working, like having regular bowel movements, being able to sweat. I couldn't sweat anymore. I had normal functions just didn't work. I fell asleep in front of a space heater because I was so cold in Vermont. And I woke up and my mom moved me, luckily, after like an hour and a half. And the next day I had bubbles on my back because I had gotten 2nd-degree burns and didn't even feel it. And it's just like, it's having dysautonomia and different diseases and stuff that affects your nervous system. And that keeps you from processing just normal things. Like,
Yeah.
wow, I was like, I don't sweat. You know, people are like, oh, that's awesome. Go you. You don't sweat. Like, you don't have a period. Yay. That's like such a gift.
Yeah.
And didn't know that when you don't have a period for 10 years, your bone density, you stop building that bone.
Yeah.
And so through my illness, I remember going to my endocrinologist, and she's like, what do you mean? Because, you know, they always say like, oh, when did you have these last things? When was your last period? Whatever. Yeah. And I said 10 years. And she was like, what do you mean 10 years? I'm like, exactly what I said, 10 years. And she's like, what is your bone density? And so she did a bone density test on me immediately. And I had the bones of a 9-year-old. She goes, you could twist a doorknob and break your wrist. That's how bad your bones are. When I would walk, my ankles would buckle. I was going through all of this, you know, different like collapsing feelings. Like my bones always hurt, everything hurt. And when I was after that appointment, hearing that, I was like, okay. And then it really clicked because I was septic again at 24.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, you live to be 25. We are going all out for your 25th birthday. And so we went to the Maldives, mother-daughter trip. She turned 60. I turned 25. So we were like, okay, my mom and I are best friends. She's my rock, my savior. I couldn't imagine life without her. She is 1 week before me in my birthday. So she always jokes I was a late birthday present. So we went to the Maldives together. 2 days into my 15-day trip, broke my right leg. I was running on the beach and rolled it. And so I was like, okay, it's a sprain. Really, really hurt. Kept going. The next day, I rolled the other one because I was favoring the left leg. Yeah. And the guy there, the doctor, you know, we're on an island. There's no real doctors around. He was like, well, if it's broken, you wouldn't be able to walk. And I go, I have a pretty high pain tolerance.
Yeah, you know your body.
Yeah. And my mom was like, do we need to go home? I said, we traveled 30 hours here. I will be in the water every day. I'll just use my arms. Like everywhere we went, we walked. I was walking like this. Like by the time I got home, 13 days later, I went to the doctor and he's like, torn ligaments, fracture, break, and sprain. Like they were just horrible. And he goes, you'll need two casts for 4 weeks to 6 weeks. And I just become at this point hired as a bar instructor. And they were like, oh my gosh, 4 weeks. That's such a long time. It took 6.5 months for my bones to heal
back
because of my bone density.
It sounds like you didn't get necessarily a ton of like information and support directly from the medical field. Like you had to like almost put together the pieces to your own puzzle because nobody just came out and was like, this is what's going on. This is the support you need. This is, you know, so like, it sounds like you and your mom had to go through and like do your own research and figure this out.
Yeah.
So how did you stumble upon rebounding as being something that could help you through this? Like, what was that? Did you find it yourself, like through your own research? Was it recommended? Like, how did you stumble? Because I feel like, yeah, there's not a lot of resources in the medical field.
Yeah. You have to be such an advocate for yourself. You really have to I always tell people, I'm like, don't just defer to doctors, always do your own research.
Yes.
I actually was in 2020, I went to Hippocrates Health Institute and
Florida. Yeah.
So I went to Hippocrates Health Institute and they had rebounding there. And at this point, my body functions were crazy. I gained 40 pounds in a month because of my swelling. I had lymphedema. I literally couldn't walk. Like everything hurt, my joints, and they had rebounding there. And I met this amazing guy, Edwin, and he was the instructor. And he was like, this is great for bone density, for lymphatic drainage. I was like, awesome. I'm so on board. And I fell in love with it. So after leaving there, was like, okay, I did my research. I found out about like NASA's studies, building back bone density with bellicon. Hippocrates is the bellicon rebounders. I was like, I need to get one. So for me, it was like, I need to get one. So I stopped having to go to the doctor and pay for like bone doctors. Yeah. So I started rebounding daily. And even now, still, like, I teach so many classes, but when I go for a walk, especially in the humidity in Florida, I get so swollen that I will like come back. As soon as I get back in my house, I rebound for at least 5 minutes just to flush everything out. But I mean, it was literally my saving grace, because to go from being an athlete when you're younger and like going into these illnesses, and you have to be so tough and so hard, and then feeling like you're out of control, like you're gaining all this weight, you don't know why, like what is going on, you can't walk, you can't do your long walks, like
you're not getting answers from what's happening. It sounded like there was no direct answer to, this is what's happening, this is how we support you and fix it. And that's scary.
So scary. It felt like I was out of my body. And like, I said, I went through septic shock at 9. I did again at 24. I did again at 27 and 28. I like my body, if it gets some sort of bacteria exposed, I'm just so susceptible. So each time you go, it's like cheating death. Like my dad jokes that I'm a cat with 9 lives and I've used 4. And like to make it through that each time, and especially when you make it through, and to get through that illness or to get through sepsis, you're like, okay, well, this was like, this could be me dying. If I get through this, I'm good. But to still be sick after, that's just so draining. So my joy, no matter how bad my day is, I literally wake up in the morning and sometimes I'm like, I won't be able to work out today. I can't. And I'm like, you know what? This is why I became an instructor, because when I'm an instructor, I have to show up. I have to show up because they're going to be there. I need to show up for
yourself.
show up for myself. So I'm in bed being like, oh, I can't do it today. And as soon as I go and get on my rebounder, people are like, how are you so energetic? I'm like, because I got here early and started rebounding before, so I can have the energy for you guys. Like,
how many classes are you teaching a day?
So I teach I teach now 7 rebounding classes a week.
What?
Every day but Tuesday and Sunday.
God.
And so I do doubles sometimes. And like for me, it is my joy. I joke, I'm like, I do it to get my yayas out, to get my crazy out. My dad, he was diagnosed with cancer last year, and he's now coming to my classes, which is amazing, because he's getting through. He's like, oh my gosh, that was so exciting. He goes, did I really burn that many calories? Like, look at my watch, it's going crazy. And so it was just so fun, because like, it's kind of like Charlie's Angels. He walks in, he's like, good morning, ladies. And it's like, everyone with my dad. But no, it's just been so great. Like him doing it and me doing it, and my mom, who also, like, the trifecta of all like getting sick, right? It's not funny to laugh about, but sometimes you have to, right? You got to make your own joke about it. And my mom has pulmonary fibrosis and it's very hard on her lungs to work out outside. So I got her rebounder this past Christmas, and she tells herself every day she has to do 100 jumping jacks. That's her thing. She keeps it in the TV room, and she'll put on like Grimm or her favorite show, and she'll do 100 jumping jacks. She's like,
does she count them in her head?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
she's like going through. She's going through just like 1, 2, 3.
That's so funny.
But it's so great because people see my dad and my mom, and they're like, wow, they're like, the other day one was like, yeah, he's 65 and does it. And I'm like, no, he's 72 with cancer and he does it and he kills it. Like, but it's just been, I feel so blessed that I found bellicon and found like you guys, and talking with you, and seeing different moves I can try it every time. And I've made such a great support and community for myself here in Vero and just working with my clients and just seeing them passionate. I've had people say, you're saving my marriage. They're like, I came in today wanting to kill my husband, and you just changed my mood.
I can relate.
I'm like, yes, thank you, goals. But for me, it's just like, people are like, how do you rebound and how do you do this when you're so nauseous? And I'm like, well, you know what? I love it because I want to distract me from the pain. I'm like, endorphins make you happy, gives you energy. I always quote Al Woods, right? Endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. Like it gives me that endorphin boost. I don't have caffeine in my diet. It is my caffeine. It's my everything. It just brings me so much joy.
When they do, like, have they done bone scans? Like, is the bone density like at least the negative?
Yes, it's improved. Actually, my hips went from a negative 1.7 to fine.
Okay.
and my spine went from a -3. So not even osteopenia, it was full on osteoporosis, to a -1.8. So I'm actually building back that bone density, doing it. And my clients, the same thing. They've gone to the doctor like, oh my gosh, I just did my DEXA scan. I just did my bone density scan. And it's like improving. It's either, staying still, because some of them are older, they're in their 60s. Some of them I've every age from 13 to 70s, So they're saying it's either like stagnant where it's not progressing anymore, or it's correcting, which has been just amazing. I love hearing that. And I love sharing my story in the hopes that it would help other people, and just like, to have something I'm so passionate about and to be able to teach it is just I feel like a blessing that I'm really, really lucky to have.
It is amazing. Every time we see a video of you on social, like your videos have the most joy and it radiates through the video. And I smile, like I have a visible smile every time I see one of your workouts, because I know what you've been through. You've shared it with me. And it's like, there's no excuses. If I see you showing up every day to your bellicon with what you've been through, like I have no excuses. I have to show up once I see that. So I wanted people to know that when we repost your videos, there's so much more to your story than what they're just seeing on the repost. And I think it's amazing. And then, for people who have had Lyme disease, because it's growing. We were just talking off recording, Sara and I, that it was in 60 Minutes last night talking about the influx. I think it was 15% of the Northeast have Lyme disease. Like it's growing, and we're talking with so many people who call in for bellicon. So we have found, and you're not the only person who's reported it, that with the rebounding, because it does cleanse the lymphatic system because of the vertical bounce and it gets things moving, that they have seen amazing improvements with Lyme disease and the symptoms associated with it from rebounding. So I wanted to share that too, because that is such a complicated disease to work through.
Yeah.
I mean, it affects everyone differently and with these bizarre symptoms.
Well, and it's when, and then you're more susceptible to getting different autoimmune diseases and things morph. Like I'm now diagnosed with Sjogren's syndrome. I do chemo now for it. And that's made my quality of life a lot better. But just one thing that I definitely want to include is, like, I used to have to pay for 2 lymphatic drainage massages a week. Like literally, I was between that and my bone doctor and stuff. And people, you sometimes get people who are like, oh, I can't really afford a rebounder or something. I'm like, you will be saving so much money in the long run, And for me, like not having to do that lymphatic drainage twice a month, like I was literally with my masseuse for an hour and a half to 2 hours twice a week, just to like move everything around, just to get everything pumping. And to now just be able to do that from my work and like my joy and getting to do that and helping other people. It's just been such a huge reward for me.
That's amazing, because those are expensive massages.
Yeah.
So to be able
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, really, bellicon's nothing compared to that.
That's like, you got to put your bellicon, and then you can avoid all those extra massages.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. So last thing before we wrap up, well, 2 things. Did you ever share with your medical professionals how much rebounding has had an impact? I'm just curious, because I feel like they don't know about it. A lot of,
you know what? It's so funny, because I have started doing that when people are like, wow, your blood pressure's so low. And like, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, I rebound. And I have, like my chiropractor goes, you know what? Like since I've met you, I've done research on it, and she's now having her clients, the chiropractor and the different osteopaths, they're having their clients get rebounders, because they've either met me or I've told them, and they've started researching it on their own. But I always tell people, because, and same even with my GI doctor, he asked about it, because with being able to flush everything out, and team, I don't want to say everything, right? But so they've been suggesting their clients start it too. So it's really amazing to kind of be able to spread the word on that.
It's funny. I've interviewed several doctors, and all of them have said, I said, where did you find out about rebounding? They're like, from one of my patients. So it's interesting that like the patients have to really, really advocate for themselves, and you have to find your own knowledge. And it's not to disrespect what's happening in the medical industry, because there's amazing things doctors do. I mean, we can't, but I do think there's something to be said about, these gentle rehabilitation practices that we can find on our own. So I'm just really glad you shared that. Okay, so last thing, your last message to the community. If you want to find Sara at Sara Wellness Warrior, we'll put her Instagram on here. You can, if you're in the Florida area, you definitely have to go check out one of her classes in Vero Beach. But last thing to share with the community, if you want to have a closing note, what would be some advice you would give people as we end this?
I'd always say to be your own advocate, support yourself, never let someone feel like they're bullying you into a diagnosis or into a treatment plan, and that you can really just advocate for yourself and just do your research. And sometimes, like for me, I was too sick to research a lot. So my mom kind of took on that role when I was younger. I'm taking it on more now, now that I'm older, but just don't let anyone like steal your courage or, make you feel like you're insane and it's in your head, because it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, they say they're the invisible illnesses, right? The autoimmune diseases and Lyme and all these different horrible things that happen. And that you just have to stay strong and trust in yourself, and to not let anyone's outside words come into your safe space, because you're already going through so much. And if you need that, they almost say, like, right, if you have someone who's very toxic or something, you just separate and be like, I can't have that in my life right now. And to just find your joy. What brings you joy? Is it dancing on for 30, thinking like for 3 minutes? Is it jumping on your rebounder like me? It's just kind of little things to change your mood, to get out of that kind of dark spiral that comes over, and it's very hard to get over. So just hugs to everybody who is chronically ill or who are family members of the chronically ill. I have so much love and support going out to you guys, virtual hugs, but just know that, if you want to share your story with me, and I'm always a safe space if you want to just talk, and I'm open to talking to anybody about what they're going through, because I want to kind of use what I've learned to kind of save you guys steps to your journey.
Thank you, Sara. And everybody, we'll put her social in here. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to Sara, reach out to us. And thank you, Sara. Thank you so much for your bravery and courage and vulnerability and showing up for this. And
well, thank you guys.
We're really grateful to have you as bellicon trainer and just to have you as a resource in our community. So, all right, have a beautiful day. Thank you all for watching. See you soon.